welcome back to VFX and Chill. This week, this pre-Thanksgiving week, I am the titular Seth, and this is my good old pal. Say your name. It's your turn.
Seth. Oh, Hashi.
We went over this. We practiced this often.
I had it.
We are on our way home for Thanksgiving. As you can see, it gets very snowy where we both live together. We are actually in this car driving on the road, and we have a very, very fun show for you today. I'm going to go out of character and to real me. Hashi, how are you, man?
I'm chilly, Seth. VFX and chilly over here. But getting excited about the holidays because the holidays, the changing of the seasons. There's lots of cold and snow and wind and rain, and so you just want to huddle up around a fire. Really, is what I want to do.
That's all I want to do too, is huddle around a fire. Now, what's funny is this. I just realized this is kind of maybe too close to home for you, for your life. You were traveling across the country, and I decided our theme this week would be us in a vehicle. Is that okay? I didn't check with you first.
Oh, that's all right. I am on the road right now. We are currently officially homeless, which is lovely.
Congratulations!
I should say we're in between homes, to be more respectful there. But yes,
you're in the liminal space, as the cool young kids say.
I'm staying with my awesome brother-in-law at his place, and let me see if I have in the back seat here something I stole from his office, which is this beauty.
Oh my gosh! It's a dog dressed as a conductor, a soldier.
Yes, it's a very official portrait. The dog. Let's throw that back in the trunk there. And
get back there, dog.
It's been an exciting few weeks of travel on the road. But speaking of the road, are you seeing what I'm seeing?
Oh, we're getting pulled over. Shoot. Yeah. Wait a minute. I know this cop. Michael!
Michael!
We can't hear you, Michael. Are you there? Oh, wait. I just realized. Michael, you there?
He's speechless.
Oh, yes. Hello. Do you know how fast you were going with your multi-frame rendering?
An adequate speed, I believe.
Yes, officer. We don't actually... well, first off, this computer that I'm on /car is incapable of doing multi-frame rendering, I'm pretty sure, as the people out there have time and time again reminded me that my computer is failing them and their families. That wasn't a question. That was a statement. I don't really know what I wanted from you there.
Carry on. I'm sure you have much better things to do with your day than talk to this lovely officer of the law.
well, thank you.
We appreciate it.
We do, sir. All right, we'll be on our way now. Here we go.
Excellent. Take care. Thank you.
That went well.
Yeah, and if any of the youngins aren't getting the reference out there, it's we are in the movie Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, which
we are in the throes of planes, trains, and automobiles.
Yes, it's like Tommy Boy, but replace Brian Dennehy with Thanksgiving. Right? Is that the
yes,
math?
That's it. It's replace Brian Dennehy with Thanksgiving, which actually I would recommend for all films. Just try when you're watching FX or Silverado, just when you see Brian Dennehy, just instead imagine Thanksgiving. It's wonderful.
Yes. Excellent.
I don't know how much longer we can go before we pick up a hitchhiker, which makes no sense. That non sequitur.
I know, it's been on our bucket list for this road trip.
Pick up a hitchhiker.
Oh my goodness! Speaking of the devil, look at that. Hey, is that?
We know that guy.
We know. Hey, hop on in, man.
Hey, that's Rodolphe Pierre Louis.
Hey, guys, thank you so much for this ride.
Oh, absolutely.
Of course.
Even a founder CEO of Action VFX.com needs a ride somewhere.
That's right.
I'm just gonna Getting a little
Yeah,
cozy over
I'm
here,
originally
Seth.
from Haiti, so I'm not used to this weather, so appreciate it.
Of course, of course.
Absolutely.
Rodolphe, in case people may not know you, which what the hell kind of person doesn't know you? You are the founder and CEO of Action VFX, correct? Providers of like
Sir,
countless amounts of stock footage and VFX assets that Hashi and I use every freaking day of our lives. So first off, thank you for your what you provided the world, because it's fantastic.
yeah, happy
He
to do
blows
it.
up and sets things on fire so we don't have to, which is
And gets things wet and gets things snowy and just so many things. I feel like we should be able to pop up some sort of image showing some of these things.
We
Not
should.
much, but it's honest work.
Like, for example,
Well,
the website. If someone had the
That broke.
website handy, it would be a great thing to show.
If someone did have the website, it would be a great thing to show. I wonder if anyone has the website. Oh wait, yes, my bad.
Yes, so hey everyone, in case you do not know who we are, I am Rodolphe Pierre, and I'm the founder and CEO of Action VFX, and we are a visual effects stock footage company, which means we provide multiple awesome VFX assets for your projects. We actually do go out and shoot a lot of our stuff for real, which is always super fun. Although not as fun as you would think. People always think, hey, you're blowing things up for a living. That's the easiest job ever. There's a plot twist. It's not. It's still a job at the end of the day. You have to put in the work to get good results. And that's
If it were
what we
easy,
do
everyone
every
would be
day.
doing it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we kind of see ourselves as the people that throw our hands in the dirt so you don't have to. And I always say people will never fully know everything that goes into making this stuff happen. But hey, they don't need to know. All they need to know is that they have assets that they can rely on to blow things up or burn things down or make it rain. Like you can see, we just released some pretty cool rain assets. But yeah, so essentially we have a growing library. We're at about 5,000 assets right now.
incredible.
Even have people.
People.
Yeah,
I didn't know you had
when I
people.
heard you doing that people set, I was like, that's such a good idea, because you can switch the clothes to make the people have different clothes. You can you just scatter them everywhere else. Like, it's such a good idea, especially since people can't film, like they used to, a big crowd of people. And you just, there you go, make a crowd whatever size and shape you want.
Yeah, so that was actually an idea that came during COVID because, yeah, that's exactly what you were saying, having trouble to create large crowds and stuff. And we just kind of felt, hey, we have the technology to film people safely, independently in front of a green screen and combine them later. So it's always kind of things like that where we kind of take a feel for the market and listen to what people want and make it. Obviously, people are very different than our usual fires and big splashes and explosions and stuff. But yeah, that was a fun project. So yeah, we have this library, different categories, and constantly growing. That's kind of our goal. It's literally in our mission statement to build the biggest and best and largest library of VFX assets in the world.
Well, man, you're on your way, because I'm kind of like floored by, like, I mean, I've known you guys for a little while. I've been using you guys' stuff for a while now, and I feel like the output of you guys, the amount of stuff you're putting out, and the consistency and the quality of it, and you guys shoot all of it yourself, and so like, how do you have an office? I feel like it's just explosions all day, every day, until the end of time.
Yeah, no, it's funny because, I mean, with our output right now, which I can say honestly, we still want to do more than we're doing. We are doing monthly releases. So, but it's still, I don't know, like the vision is just so much bigger than what we're able to do right now because, yeah, I mean, we're not gonna run out of things to create essentially. And in addition to, the usual stock assets, there's so many different types of assets we can be doing, like maybe more 3D based stuff. And so that's kind of the the vision there, and yeah, so we're doing a lot to make it to really increase our output. But what we're able to do right now, it's really can't thank the team enough. Like, that's one of those things where it's so easy to brag on the Action VFX team because I remember the days when it was just me trying to do stuff, and then it was me and Luke trying to do stuff, and it is night and day compared to what it was now. We had a shoot a couple weeks ago actually where we filmed some forest fires and some flamethrowers and things like that, and that was like one of the first shoots that I wasn't a part of. Like, I wasn't a part of the planning. I wasn't a part on set. I showed up for a few hours one day to deliver food, but that was about it. So it's always cool to kind of see the progression of empowering people to do what they do best and continue the vision going forward. So
I mean, I remember when you guys were very, very first starting out, you were like, we're going to make stock footage that's like for visual effects that is actually, shot with visual effects in mind, like the fire's not going to leave the frame, like that kind of stuff. And I was like, holy cow, this is exactly what everyone's been wanting all this time. And you were just on Kickstarter, I was like backing immediately. Like, this is such a good vision. I was just really excited about it.
Yeah, and thanks again for backing our Kickstarter. I still remember the first time I met you at NAB, and yeah, so because I'm usually an introvert, so I'm not the super outgoing type, but I think I walked up to you and it was, started a conversation, and then turns out you had supported our Kickstarter, and it's like, oh, so you know who I am. Okay, well, thank you for trusting and believing in our vision. So appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no problem. I'm just a huge fan of stuff that's good. I don't know what else to say.
It's not hard. It's not hard when when stuff is really, really good.
Perfect summary.
Well, and when your stuff. What was that?
I said perfect summary.
Yeah, well, it is. It's great when stuff is great and works, but also when it like benefits your personal work, which it like when it makes all of us look better. That's what's so fantastic about it.
Yeah, I've made my entire living for years was just comping Action VFX clips into home video, and so supported my
seriously, guys, thank you for the kind words. Like, it really does mean a lot, and yeah, we always do our best to ensure that we're doing the best that we can and that we're trying to innovate with what we do. We never try to just shoot something and throw it on the site. So yeah, always seeing you guys use our stuff it's always an honor because, ever like way before I met, you, Seth, and Hashi, like I was already following you also. So it does mean a lot, truly.
Oh, shucks. Thanks, man. Well, I'm
you.
curious. We're here in this car. Hashi and I are on our way home for Thanksgiving to our mutual home where we both live. I'm assuming you're on your way home as well for Thanksgiving. So speaking of Thanksgiving, my question is, there's a big thing that happens after Thanksgiving it's on a Friday normally, the one right after Thanksgiving where there tends to be people spend a lot of money but less money than they normally would, right? I'm curious, does Action VFX have anything planned for this nameless day of slightly less money on things?
Yeah, it's slightly less money on a day. That sounds kind of dark. That sounds like a dark Friday.
A dark Friday. That's what it's called, actually, is Dark Friday. So I'm curious if Action VFX has any plans for Dark Friday.
Oh yes, we definitely have a lot of plans for Dark Friday, and I don't like Dark Friday. Let's just change it to Black Friday.
All right,
Black Friday.
I love it. Hey, you came prepared.
Things up. Yes,
that was great.
We do have our Black Friday sale, and it's starting next week. It's actually starting on Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on our website, and it's going to be super exciting. It's going to definitely go ahead and go on our website, actionvfx.com, and check it out. We're also going to be releasing 3 new free collections on that week as well. So if you want to be reminded of those, go ahead and hit that remind me button, but have some brand new collections coming out for Black Friday too. So we have the Falling Burning Debris, which we have some burning debris. Well, we have some debris right now, but it's not burning.
But if it's not falling,
it's not burning. Okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of like
Falling,
merging two
burning
things, right?
debris.
We have some debris that's not falling, and then we have some.
Now those are the names of the
falling
packs,
debris
right?
That's not burning.
The packs are actually titled "Debris That's Not Falling," "Debris That's Neither Falling Nor Burning," "Debris That Is Falling, Alas Though Not Burning."
Yeah. We're really believing in just great descriptions to help you.
Absolutely. Well, one thing I will say about actionvfx.com, the site is beautiful, and I've always loved how quickly you can hover over and see the collections, see just what you want, and figure out the right stock asset so quickly. Because
and even after you own it, once you own it, it's
Mm-hmm.
there online. You don't even have to house stuff on your personal drive or site. You can go online and be like, oh, here's all the things I've bought before, and here's all the stuff that's available to me, and I can download individual clips rather than an entire collection. Man, it's like you know exactly what people want and how to do it.
Wow, you guys are super fans, aren't you?
We are.
We are.
It's like we were paid lots of money to do this, but we weren't. We just really like Action VFX.
Yeah.
We're about to start getting into After Effects and use some of these assets, I'm sure. But before we do, and I know the chat's getting antsy about it, but there is a question in the chat for you on the subscriptions. What exactly is a subscription? They say they see your ads a lot, but they're not quite sure what the subscription entails. Like, what do you get for a subscription to Action VFX?
Yeah, so the Action VFX subscription is basically the most affordable way to use our assets right now. And the way the subscription work is you get monthly credits. So there's a credit amount that you would get every month. And so once you subscribe, like the lowest is like 5 credits, and 5 credits, like 1 credit basically equals 1, individual element. And so you get that every month, and you can download that, and it comes down. I think some of them is even $1 per credit, which is kind of insane, honestly. But
yeah, bad. Why would you do that to yourself? Why would you? Yeah,
it's interesting. That is a great question. So I'm pulling up the subscription page right now, and the big reason we did that was, I mean, obviously, Action VFX, we want to cater to the professional audience. Like, that was always the big vision. We wanted to make assets that could be used at the highest level of production. So whether you were, I don't know, making a new Spider-Man movie or something like that, you could actually trust Action VFX. But one thing we did realize the more we did this was just how much of the audience we were actually excluding. And, at the same time, we felt like there had to be a good balance, to be able to still reach that professional market, but at the same time still helping, someone that's just starting out. Because once upon a time, we were just starting out, like I was definitely the kid trying to look on YouTube to find, elements to use. So I would say where we kind of found that perfect center was with the subscription, because it allows you to, it's not an unlimited subscription, so you don't pay $10 and just get everything. But for the quality of the stuff that we do, we figured it would be the best, most affordable option to allow someone, whether it's, we want to pay for like a $14.99 plan or $29.99 a month plan or $49.99 a month, but still get the same quality that big budget movies are using in their projects. So that's basically what the subscription is. The credits roll over month to month. So let's say you had some credits and you didn't use them, you don't have to worry, you're not gonna lose anything, so you can just use them next time when you have a big project. So that's basically a rundown of the subscription. And if you come to our site on Black Friday, if you do want to do the subscription, on all our annual plans, you'll actually get double the credit amount. So, yeah, that's a cool little Black Friday offer, which means this $136 per element will be I can't do math, but it'll be less than $1, which is crazy. So,
Wow.
That's awesome.
it's a
So, yes.
no-brainer, but of course.
Speaking of the assets, let's use them.
Yeah, so you actually gave us some of these new
Hey.
assets, right?
Yeah. The stuff that I'll be demoing today is actually from our Forest Fires collection that hasn't even been
Cool.
released yet. So that's one of the assets we'll be releasing next before Black Friday. So you'll be able to take advantage of this. Yeah, let me go ahead and go into After Effects.
All right. Whoa,
show you-
fire!
Yeah, it's fire. So let's do this quick demo. Another great thing about having a great team is Zach Benhoy, our head of product development, actually put together this demo for me, which is awesome. So teams are great. I love my team. So we have this, right here, and it's a beautiful fire, right? It's a tree.
Beautiful
It
fire
looks
because
like a
it's
tree
real.
that's burning. And honestly, this by itself is really cool. But
I love
as we're
burning
doing
trees.
this collection, oh, sorry, what's that?
If you hear me talking, just always assume it's dumb, and you can keep talking. That's the best way to approach our show.
Yeah. So it's a nice fire and it's burning, but we're always, whenever we shoot something, whenever we have an idea on something to make, we want to think, what's the best way is going to be the most useful for a visual effects artist? And so if I put a background here, this is kind of the traditional way you would use something like that. So you have the tree, and then it wraps nicely around the tree, and you kind of fit it in here. Which, I mean, this is good. Like, this right here is good. This will help you get some really cool results. But we are Action VFX, and we are super competitive, and we are always thinking, okay, what would actually help, all situations? So we decided to not just provide the fire for these, but actually try to provide mats that goes with these to make it more useful. So let's say we have this. We also got some branches, so we don't just have tree trunks. We have branches.
Nice.
Oh,
and
amazing.
stuff. So
I wanna use that.
this looks great, right? If you have a shot and it's a night scene, you could really just throw this in there and it's already perfect. But the problem that you will get to is, let's say it's not a dark shot. So if all we did was provide this as is, then you kind of would have some trouble there. But we didn't really want to do that because we want this to be as useful as possible. So what we did was we actually got the mats from all the different branches that we burned. And by providing that to the user, it just helps a ton because, let me remove this. Now, instead of it just being you burning air, you're actually burning something.
That's awesome.
Something real. And the cool thing too, you can see the fire naturally is casting some nice
That's
glows
so
and
cool.
stuff on the branch.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Kinda
It's not a branch that's just jittering and falling apart and doing the things that wouldn't. Yeah, sometimes with a stock element, you'll get just by naturally filming them, it's hard to present them statically. So your shot tracking can be the thing that is the primary driver of any motion. And this looks super solid.
No, yeah, for sure. Like the team did a great job, and these are those things with what we do that's always exciting because to make this happen, like Cortland from our team had to go around different stores. What kind of store? Tree stores? I don't know what they're called, but all those branches, someone had to go find them, and then someone had to coordinate how to shoot them, and but the end result really speaks for itself. Someone will see this in a shot and not really think much about it. They'll just say, yeah, that's a tree.
Let's say, yeah, the VFX artist went to the tree store, bought some trees, and
no, like they'll just think there's fire on the set, because why? Who would make a stock asset that does that?
Yeah, right. It's like some guys just have too much time on their hands to.
We rely on those people. We rely on the people with too much time on their hands to provide us, so that we don't have to go all the way downtown to our local tree store and light all the stuff on fire and then get kicked out time and time again.
Is there any way that you can divide up what you think the time spent on capturing an asset like this compared to the post-processing of it to get it prepared for artists to use is like? How what the division of that time is like? Because they're so clean as they come out, and I could imagine that some of the footage going into this, while you film it as ideally as you can, will have plenty of things to consider or remove or clean up.
Yeah, that's a great question. So off the top of my head, I would say probably the shooting to editing ratio is maybe 1090. I would assume, because again, sometimes I do wish we could care less about what we do.
Amen.
But at the same time, we do want to keep the quality going, and someone needs to be able to depend when they go on Action VFX and they download something that it's going to be cleaned right. They can just bring it in and start working immediately. So we do, triple check everything that we release. So like in our pipeline, there's a lot of checks to find mistakes before it actually goes on the website. But yeah, like I would say, shooting really is the easy part, because once we got the look down, and we've done all the R&D we can, usually it would only take us about a day or two to film a full collection. But then, it comes with the editing and stuff like that. But it's worth it, because, again, if it's not something that's going to be usable for the user and someone is going to enjoy using, what's the point? And that's kind of the mindset that we launched Action VFX with. So that's kind of the one to keep going. But
well, I have a technique that I think would be valuable for people to know that I use all the time with your assets. And
describe it with words, without using any images.
Without using any images, when you get an asset like this beautiful burning branch, say you really like one section of fire in it, and it's perfect, you want it in your shot. The instinct for a visual effects artist would be to isolate that section by drawing a mask around it. However, drawing masks around stock elements leaves you with either weird straight lines or weird feathered lines. And I've seen people, even in big productions like Game of Thrones, like put a feathered mask on fire and stuff like that just isn't what would happen. And so I have a technique that I love to use when I'm ever confronted with this issue.
Let's see it.
All right. So here I have the burning debris. And say I really like, when I'm looking at it, this little bit of fire that kind of fizzles out. And first of all, what you would do is you would browse through the collection, because the collection likely has something that may be just as perfect and the right scale. But say you've fallen in love with this particular flame. What I like to do is I like to create a solid on top of all of this, and then draw just a little mask like this, a very simple shape like this. And then instead of doing this mask on the footage layer, because you can see if I had done it on the footage layer, I get, this weird edge that doesn't look like anything. Like that doesn't happen with a fire. So
even if you feather it.
Even if you feather it, because look at this feathering it like the easy cheat. I
mean, blur fire.
That's
blur
silly.
fire. Sorry.
Yeah, that doesn't happen in real life. That looks terrible.
So if you instead use a solid, draw this mask on it, and then use it as an alpha matte for this element, you can now modify this solids shape. And one of the best ways to do that is with the roughen edges effect. And you can see it starting to work. It's magic. But if I dive into the roughen edges on my solid mat, I could choose something like spiky and then adjust this border, then maybe stretch the height of the pattern to be maybe a taller pattern. And if you want to see what this looks like, let me show the transparency. Adding a roughen edges effect can easily create a really cool edge like this. And because you're allowed to offset the turbulence over time, you could do something like adding a really simple expression. I feel like we learned how to do this last week, and I don't remember now how to zoom in. Wait, was it?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Oh, there we are. So I'm going to add a little expression, which is just, I want it to translate 0 in the x-axis, and then I'll have the y-axis be time times negative, I don't know, 600 pixels per second.
Your zoom scooched off a bit, so we can't read it. There we go, thank you.
Crazy. So something like that. And so you'll see as I play this back, now you have fractal noise that is moving up at some direction.
That's really...
And what you basically want to do is just try to slowly match that to about the speed of the stock fire here. And you can see that my scale is a little bit off too, so I can scale this up until the shape of the fractal is similar to here. I can turn down the edge sharpness just a little bit. And so what I'm getting is this really cool dynamic mask that keeps... See, as I move it around, you can see that it's a really fiery edge to here. And yeah, you can play with this all you want. I mean, you can even do things like distort your solid to be getting squished or adding some turbulent displace to it. And it's just a fun technique if you need to matte fire or something like that. Please use this instead of a feathered mask.
Because this is awesome.
It's fun.
Would you like to
what are you doing over there, Seth?
What am I doing over here? Oh wait,
yeah,
who's that talking? Who's that talking? I made this whole thing and just don't ever use it. Michael, sorry, what was your question?
No, I was just saying, what you doing over there? And I see you got fire on yours as well.
Oh, well, thanks for asking, Michael. So I'm actually working on... I have this image that I made of me and Hashi at the end of our Thanksgiving journey, coming home to spend time with my wife and... Oh, wait, no. Oh, no. I just remembered what happens in the film and the backstory.
Way to go.
So we'll see Hashi's wife and his family. And really, I thought when I was making the promotional materials for this week, some of the promotional materials, because you notice we announced this episode would be about fire. And then in the late stage, I was like, hey, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is a pretty fun Thanksgiving movie, possibly my absolute favorite Thanksgiving movie. And I've come to decide Thanksgiving movies are better than Christmas movies. Fight me. And I decided...
Fine. You like them so much, name 12.
Name 12? That's why they're better. Because there's less of them.
Quantity, not quality, Seth? Is that your point?
Quality, not quantity. So, I've decided... I decided I should add some fire here to kind of unify the themes of today's episode. And we should just assume that Rodolphe and Michael are in the box, right? That's just what we'll assume, because I don't feel like comping any people today. But I do have this great fire that Rodolphe gave me. I was going to actually add fire before our show today, but I just ran out of time. And now what's great is with these awesome assets he's given me, I can start messing with that today. So I'm going to start layering in his fire recklessly and then use SuperComp to comp it all together. That's my plan.
That's beautiful.
Nice.
Hashi, the chat is wondering how you zoomed in your screen so that they can see the expression. Trick.
I'm on a Windows machine, so I pressed Windows a streaming service. Boom, boom, boom. It zooms in around your cursor, which kind of works, but it's a little bit ridiculous as you get way in there. So yeah,
something every day.
So yeah, Windows plus, Windows key plus or Windows key minus. And over here in this screen, I was just showing people the same thing as in the other screen.
Does it apply to dust too?
It applies to dust too. Like if you had this cool dust element, just instead of, well, I'll use a circular mask again. So yeah, just add a little circle mask.
Is that an Action VFX dust wave, by the way?
I believe so.
A top-down dust wave. Man, I used the living hell out of those, all of Action VFX's dust waves in darker colors. Colorized it all red to make it look like chalk, and it saved our lungs on the day, on the shoot day, from having to just fill our lungs with chalk powder in the middle of the woods.
See, that's kind of the whole thing behind Action VFX, right? We mess up our own lungs, so you don't have to.
Exactly.
Yes. we get cancer, so you don't have to.
That's on the front page, actually.
Oh. That's perfect. So yeah, the lovely thing about any fractal-based plugin is that you can always force the edges of a mask to more resemble your stock element. So if you do have to draw a mask around something like this, you can get really cool sections of this. Let's see, let me disable it for just a moment. First of all, this asset, when I saw the preview of this, I went wild. It's amazing. Look at this, everybody. Kapoof.
So good.
Who wouldn't want to shoot?
I still remember standing on that ladder trying to do this.
Oh, really? I'm always curious about scale of these kind of things, like how much space you have to work with and how big these like plumes actually are. Because you can't, elements like this are really hard to fake in miniature, so you've got to get them as close to the scale as possible. Are you faking scale with any of these things, or are you like shooting big fire as big fire?
It's like anything that's fire or explosion related, these are real. Like if it looks huge, it's because it was actually huge.
Okay, so that should be the company, like your tagline is if it looks huge, it's because it is huge.
But it's like for like these dust waves, they were like tiny, but they weren't anything like they weren't 20 feet wide or anything crazy like that. So you can usually have you can shoot a little bit with scale when it comes to like dusty things like that. Yeah. I mean, obviously to a degree, but yeah. So explosions though, definitely, because a small explosion is gonna behave different than a larger explosion. Like it's not going to billow as much, and you're not going to see as much detail and stuff. So these we usually just figure it's gonna be big. It's gonna be better to just do the big 40 feet high explosion. And yeah.
I'm trying to zoom in so people can see that I am using a solid as my alpha matte and just the roughen edges effect. The complexity turned up on the standard roughen thing. I know that the dual screens do make for a smaller presentation here.
And when
double the pleasure, though.
And when Seth gets a decent computer that can handle streaming at 1080, we'll stream at 1080.
We will.
So we're working
soon.
On it.
It has been ordered, and it is coming.
Hey.
Probably for season 2, whenever we decide that we're breaking seasons.
But our subjects that season are going to be garbage. So
garbage mats all season, just garbage mats.
Ooh.
Why are we not both named Matt? Because then we could have named this show Garbage Mats.
Yeah.
I did that. I've been sick.
I do want to interject here. The chat is very excited about the recent release from AE Scripts of a depth mat creation thing. Yes, Seth and Hashi are very aware of it, and I'm sure we'll be trying it soon. So cool.
We just saw it. It looks very cool, and we're definitely gonna mess around with it.
Yes, I only have questions about the temporal coherence again. And that's going to be my
Hashi,
catchphrase.
Stop asking people about temporal coherence. When Hashi's at the grocery store, he's like, "Ma'am, I have a question about the temporal coherence of these pears," and she's like, and she whispers to her coworkers,
"Got the
"He's back.
temporal coherence
Run."
guy in here again."
Hey, Rodolphe, the chat is loving your big blue headphones you're wearing, by the way.
Oh.
Is that an Action VFX themed chair? That's excellent.
Yeah, so around the office we have all blue chairs, and yeah, works really nice.
Nice.
That's dedicated. Like,
even have blue water bottle here with all logo.
Is the bottle blue or is the water blue?
Ooh, keep wondering.
You should look at water before you drink it. You know, I think I keep wondering.
It's just Powerade. I only drink Powerade.
Only blue Powerade.
Well, yeah, he's that committed to his brand. Temporal coherence.
I only drink fire.
The ability is temporal. I'm going to do hand gestures. So if I could pull you over again, Seth.
Yes. Tell us.
So temporal coherence. It means something is able to be coherent, that is stable over time. The problem with a lot of machine learning generated, AI generated maps is depth maps, is that they are fine for a single frame. They look decent, but the next frame has no idea of what happened in the previous frame. So it's different. Where Phil batch at Photoshop, each frame, but they're all jittery next to each other. You've seen some of our previous episodes, Runway ML. There's not. It's just so while it looks fine for a single shot, a lot of the time you get jittery stuff. That makes me question is whether or not this new tool is able to solve some of those problems. And I saw in the demo, it didn't like their own demo video didn't look like it had as many problems, but it definitely had some little flickery problems.
They had one slow-mo shot with moving characters, kinda, and it did look more stable in Runway. I would imagine because it's an open source. I don't even remember who authored the original paper, but I would bet money it's based on the same machine learning tool that Runway is. It's just a different presentation of it, or it runs locally on your GPU instead of in the cloud. That's my guess.
That's our guess. Can we proceed on our journey, officer?
Carry on.
Well, the wonderful thing about being able to create a virtual depth mat out of your footage is if you were comping a fire scene or something like that, you could do amazing things with these assets. You could have people stepping through layers of fire. You can have smoke passing in front and behind people, just the way you would try to composite a stock element with a CG element, which is something that I'd be happy to demonstrate if people are curious what that might look like.
I mean, why not?
I mean, I think we always want to see you composite things.
I'm just doing fire over
right.
here. Rodolphe, did you have anything else you wanted to show the people? I don't want to make sure that we give you, the proper stage for it.
Not yet. So I still got some stuff for our forest fires. I can go ahead and show some more stuff.
Yeah, show me. I'll let Hashi get his project file set up.
Yeah. So yeah, I was just kind of showing like the progression of all the features we try to add in this, just to make sure it works for every scenario. So it's like one, idea was, because I showed already that we included the mats and stuff in these, but figured taking it one step ahead and also actually having some tree textures and stuff. So it's like you would really be able to burn something without even having a tree at all in your scene.
And that's the dream.
Yeah, so it's like, hey, throw up a tree here. It's like, here's a tree with fire perfectly wrapping around it and all the textures already there. So that was super cool. And But again, it's still okay. What's next? What more can we do? And it was funny because when we were shooting these, because obviously the hard thing is, when you're recording fire, for example, usually you'd use a black background, and that usually works great. But then the problem is it's not going to retain any of the dark spots, and that's kind of when you end up running into a lot of different problems. So that's kind of what we're trying to combat. So this was the first collection that we actually shot both on black and also had to shoot on green, just to kind of make both things work. And I mean, the team did a great job with it. But one thing that super excited me was, let's see. So yeah, again, we have this, nice burning plant here. And I already showed you the technique that we use with the mat. So the mat for this is provided.
I feel like I need to let
well.
God's people go.
Right?
Michael, you're always saying that.
Well, just wait, because in the Bible, the bush was not burning, right?
That's right. The bush,
So
it was on fire, but was not being consumed.
Yeah, so it would have
Very
been
good.
like a very luscious green, bush
That's
that was
true.
burning.
Yeah.
And since our minds are so in sync right now, Michael, I'm going to show you exactly how you would do that. So it's like the fun thing is, since you do have the mat that we provided, if I wanted to actually add more depth to this and actually show a plant, all I would really have to do is, find where was this? So I literally just, we picked some random image of some leaves and whatnot.
I love
Then
those are
use
beautiful
that
leaves and
to do a
whatnot.
track mat with this, and it's actually just fits nicely. So the fire is not just under it, it's not just over it, it's just within it, and it's an
That's so
actual
good.
plant. And that's literally just made with the plant mat and an image, which you could use the same technique for plants. You could do it for different textures that you wanted to burn and whatnot. And
That's great.
So yeah, for sure, we are letting God's people go.
Put that on the front of the site too. I have a list of things I would like just to be toggling through regularly when people go to the site.
Hey, that could be a good marketing plug.
Action VFX, letting God's people go.
It can be
I promise
voiced
this
by
is
Val
gonna be
Kilmer's AI.
This is going to be used in a Bible film somewhere. Someone's going to be like, burning bush, nailed it.
Hey, that would be awesome. So yeah, as you guys talk, I can just go ahead and see if I actually tried to make this scene look real, what it would look like.
All right. Hashi, how you doing over there?
No, I'm doing pretty well over here. You could maybe cut to me. I might be able to do something.
I did it. Cut to you.
Look at that. All right. So over here we have the world famous BB-8.
BB-8, King BB-8.
King BB-8. I meant C-3PO. That's who this one is.
I thought that was
Definitely.
okay. Yeah. No, that's NCC 1701D. That's actually what he's called.
I always thought this guy's name was Roto-Rooter.
Roto-Rooter. All right. Well, what we really have is a cool
Sonic the Hedgehog.
dust falling asset right here.
Are you
And-
about to misuse a dust falling asset as a blast off?
What? No. I'm not actually. I was literally just going to have dust fall on top of our
I love when Michael's like, "Are you about to do something absolutely amazing?" And you and I are like, "Yes, we definitely were not going to do 50% of what you just said."
But
Right,
now
so so the cheap version of this is that, like, if you had some dust that was falling on R2, that's a comedic and sad little moment right here. But But you can see the compositing on this looks a little bit silly because there's no interactivity really going on. And so if you're using a tool like Element 3D, and honestly, any 3D program can render one of these, but I'm going to show you in After Effects because it's really fun. In Element, you can go all the way down to the output, and instead of a composite, you can select, wait, is it here? A world position. There it is. I like world position compared to just a depth matte.
Yeah, me
but
too.
What that's done is it's created this little spot in this 3D world, and you can see that everything behind it is black and everything in the foreground here is white. And with this world position, it's basically rendering nothing else. It's just rendering this matte. And what I actually did was I duplicated my element layer here. So I got my scene set up how I want it, and then I made a copy of the whole thing and switched it to world position mode. In world position mode, again, it's weird when I zoom in because I can't see the rest of my screen either, but you can turn up the matte feather. And so what that starts to do is it obviously feathers out how wide the depth matte itself is. You can feather this out, to a very high degree, so you have a lot of depth built into this thing. I can't tell how much I'm cutting off the image here.
We're not really seeing much of the image.
There we go. So here's what we're getting. And the wonderful thing about something like this is I like to take something like this and then use it as an inverted luma matte for something like this dust. So I can put the dust under it and tell it to be an inverted luma matte, meaning that the brighter something is, the more it will occlude this layer. So you'll see as it falls, it looks like it's falling behind R2. And I can either use something as primitive as brightness and contrast on top of this depth matte, or I can use the world position controls to feather this matte a little bit less, so it's a more distinct spot, and then I can push it back and forth in Z. So back here, I could get something like, look, it just looks like fog in the background, and it's contained in that area. And if I move the Z position forward, suddenly it reveals more, so it looks like it's actually hitting R2 right here. And if I turn the feather way down, so I'm just getting a really distinct point that is on this mat. You can see right there on the floor, there's a really clear cutoff where things are in front of or behind R2. And I think I can rotate this mat around the y-axis so it's facing forward here. And I'm going to feather that out a little bit more. And now if I solo just this element, you can see, look at this. It's like a wonderful holdout mat that works with the stock footage. And if I pull it forward right to a point like this, look at that.
That is beautiful.
So
there you go.
That's kind of my favorite thing to do. And this may not be the best exact example, but it's a way to show that if you have both a render and its depth matte at the same time, you can do really fun things with you.
Super cool.
Fun things with it.
Fun things with me?
No, sorry, Seth. I misspoke. I really got his hopes up again.
One day you're going to do fun things with me.
One day.
Okay. Look at all this stuff. Look at all this Action VFX stuff I have.
I still want to see you make R2-D2 rocket away using that falling dust element as a rocket blast.
Who's R2-D2? I like having Rodolphe here. We have someone who laughs at my dumb jokes. Audibly.
You're hilarious, man.
Oh man, you're my best friend. Welcome to Action VFX. Welcome to Action VFX and Chill with Rodolphe and Seth. I don't know what happened to my previous co-hosts. It's just us. We've always been here and always will be.
Perfect. Wait. Oh my gosh, I've got it, Michael.
Done. It's finished.
Wait, let's turn this back on.
Don't even ease that. Don't even ease that. I just wanted to go boop.
Why is it? Oh, I forgot that my duplicate isn't linked to it.
Oh, Rodolphe, can I real quick tell you how amazing you've got fog and smoke elements in here that are just like you can layer a whole scene with these things, and they're so freaking useful.
Hey, glad you like them, man.
I do. I do quite a bit.
Like shooting the fog, that was actually one thing which it's funny because with what we do, it's never just post-production. Obviously, there's the production aspect of it. And I think the fog stuff are the ones that we had the like most complex lighting setup for them to actually capture it right. That was definitely not a point and shoot type of product because you have to keep it even, but at the same time not, because you still want to have the depth. And I think so the studio we're filming these at was actually, it used to be a high school gym, actually a middle school gym, not that it matters, converted into a studio. And I remember we painted that entire gymnasium. And so these were actually decently large scale and just kind of lighting the whole thing. And also while not getting the background, that was the hard part.
Yeah.
But hey, I mean, it happened. Brings back some good memories of shoots and stuff.
And you say it was a high school gym or a middle school gym? I just want to make sure I write this down and get this right.
It was the middle school gym.
Okay. And do you happen to know if they what their sports? Wow, this joke would have been great if I knew words that had to do with sports and statistics and.
It's the one when they like play with the ball and stuff. And
the one where they play with the ball.
And then they like run around with the ball.
I know that one. I'm familiar. Yes, that's my favorite of the sports. The one where they play with the ball and stuff and run around.
All right, Michael, here's your wish. Here is...
He's farting away!
It's perfect. The only thing that it's missing is, like, I wish I had, like, some kind of, like a jet flame or something that I could be augmenting this shot with.
Well,
and you mean... Just out of curiosity...
You mean
no? You have an
flames?
entire category called jet flames.
Jet flames. Action VFX.
Oh right. Wait, from different perspectives too.
So how do you get the jet flame front without melting the camera? How long is that lens?
That's a trade secret.
Okay. Great. Cut to it. Just a warehouse of melted Alexas.
I was wondering how they talked him into letting him paint an airplane matte black so they could film this.
Yeah, what is this actually? Can you tell us what this is?
I think this was from a flamethrower.
Oh, naturally.
Wait.
Okay.
Flamethrower.
Oh, yeah. One of those things that everyone has lying around. Yes.
Yeah. Just your standard average household
you got your
flamethrower.
Yes, we have a flamethrower at the office, and I think that was just it not actually shooting the full stuff. But.
And guys, just so you understand, guys and girls, our audience out there, the level of detail these guys go to, they have a whole set called burning poles. They're just like, they know the need. The need for poles that are on fire, and they have them. There's tons of window flames too, right? Yep.
Yes.
Window fire.
Window
I know because
flames.
I teach. My visual effects class, one of the main big homework assignments I give them a plate from Spy vs. Guy, where the shot was actually a wide shot of an alley where I can probably just pull it up, and I just say, hey, burn these buildings to the ground.
Perfect.
And I say, here's a few assets. I give them like 2 window fire assets, and I say, you guys have to burn and some smoke assets and burn marks for the signs. And I teach them heat wave, and I teach them how to composite fire and place it, and using a lot of tricks actually that I got from you guys. One of you guys' Action VFX tutorials that you do on your blog.
Very nice.
And it's great. We get really, really great results out of that.
No, that's awesome. Always good to hear. I'll stop helping teach people.
Yeah, dude.
All right, this is gonna be perfect. I'll do no quality control on it. Hey, here we go. Ah, yeah.
Hey!
Hey.
All right, so you need some ground. You need some ground light now when he boosts off.
Why bother any harder than they did in episode? What? I'm not throwing shade. They did a good job. Of course, he could always fly. Though I know that his rockets are this thing, this doohickey that the people at the RPF probably had called something else for years. And it popped out, and they were like, "That's not what that does." Pablo Hidalgo.
Pablo Hidalgo. It's always Pablo Hidalgo.
Deep stuff.
It was a deep pull. This here, by the way, is my shot I was talking about with from Spy vs. Guy. In the final film, there's a digital Coke machine there and a missile that hits it and doesn't blow up. But I found this is a really great plate for placing a bunch of window fire. And so why don't I just do that? I'm just going to do that real quick, and I'm going to come back to this shot and super comp the living hell out of it. I was going to add some smoke and stuff first, but I might just do this just to kind of show for everybody can watch.
No need to add smoke. It's a clean burning trees.
What's that?
No need to add smoke. Those are clean burning trees.
What's that? What's that, Michael? One more time. Sorry. I want the audience to see your face when you say it.
Oh, sorry. Wait. No need to add smoke.
All right, that's enough of Michael. Now let's go back to what we were doing.
We're gonna get a ticket now for sure.
We're going straight to jail. What are you doing, Hush?
Just extracting zips over here, Seth.
What are you doing, Rodolphe?
Just trying to figure out how to light a tree.
Something we'll all be doing if you participate in the Christmas tree phenomenon.
Yes. The phenomenon of bringing trees into After Effects and burning them. You still think it's a fad? Christmas trees?
I hold out every year over my crying kids' objections. Nah.
I don't have anything fun yet to show. I'm just over here trying to remember how to use After Effects.
Well,
That's the other title of our show.
I'm just over here trying to remember how to use After Effects. Let's see. I'm going to do...
All right. I feel like I've got to invent something to do. Just so you all know, from peer pressure, I have downloaded that
Pierre Louis pressure or just peer pressure?
Pierre. Oh my gosh. From the Pierre Louis pressure.
Rodolphe, is that a joke you've heard before?
It hasn't. Like, that was an original.
Boom.
Because I assume as we lean towards Christmas, there's a joke that you get quite frequently.
Yeah, it's from people that can't say my name right.
Yeah. But I'm glad that we were able to give you a name-based pun you've not heard before.
Pierre Louis pressure, which might be the name of the episode. Let's see.
Incredible. All right, but I have caved to peer pressure and grabbed the demo of that depth scanner plugin to see if it plays well with these.
Ooh, really?
But, this would be quite literally a on-the-fly situation here. So,
well, I'm excited.
So first of all, the download is 3 gigs. So just there's some stuff happening with this plugin.
I mean, they trained it on millions of images, so I guess.
I just didn't think the database needed that, but I guess I'm probably used to a cloud version of this stuff. Oops, there goes my screen while I give this thing I downloaded off the internet access to my computer. I always recommend doing that live. Access to my program files, sure, and the local network, why not?
Access
The
to
world
my
network.
weekly live stream, sure.
I'm saying yes to a whole lot of checkbox questions that I'm going to advise you read at home. I mean, this computer's insured against crashing.
Terms and conditions. Who needs to read the license agreement?
Oh boy. It does rely on the 2015 Microsoft Visual C++ redistributable package.
Oh, classic
built in.
package.
So, you know.
Classic package. One of my top 10 packages. Definitely.
I've done a few live streams in my times. I think this is the funnest one I've ever done.
Oh, that's so sweet of you, Rodolphe. Thank you.
That's
so
really
much.
nice.
The first one I haven't been compared to a reindeer immediately.
Especially this close to Christmas. This is our Thanksgiving episode. That's why. You dodged a bullet.
Yes. Do you have any holiday traditions coming up, either of you, that you are looking forward to or dreading?
Man, I'll let Rodolphe go first, because mine's
holiday
kind of a rant.
traditions.
Besides the ulcer that comes along with a Black Friday sale every year or something.
It's like that's kind of what I'm thinking. Is like for the past 5 years of my life. It's like this season is called Black Friday season, so it's not even Thanksgiving. It's Black Friday season. But no, I don't think I have anything crazy going on. Obviously, looking forward to Thanksgiving dinner, having a couple of these that I'm going through, so that's gonna be exciting. And I mean, with Christmas, I'm still deciding whether I'm gonna put my tree up or not.
I mean, it's a fad. Hashi's pretty confident it's a fad, so it might be smart of you.
We've got
maybe I should burn the tree.
We've got 5 or 6 trees in our house.
In your house, just naturally growing?
Yeah. No, Christmas trees. The spouse is likes trees and is very, very, very good at decorating them. If I was doing this on my phone, I could take you around the house and show you them. But yeah, it's our house has really bought into that fad hard. It's like we've got Beanie Babies everywhere, but Christmas trees.
Now, is it something that you're fans of Christmas trees, or is it the classic? Someone saw you had a Christmas tree one year, so they got one for you because you're like, "Hey, you love Christmas trees."
Oh no,
and then they keep getting you one every year.
You're like, "Oh no, we're Jewish," so I really don't know where this came from.
Hey, Rodolphe, the chat is asking, is the fire real or CGI?
Oh, it's real.
I guess they weren't listening to the whole rest of our chat.
It is real. So all our fires right now are real, actual fires that we shoot safely. I have to include that. Don't try this at home, but yes, it's 100% real fire.
We have a 98% extinguish rate on the fires, so
that 2%.
Don't worry. Yeah, they can be ugly. All right. It wants me to restart my machine. Not doing that. Not during a live stream.
You'll have to wait for our next show, folks.
Yep. I'm good. It also I'm restarting After Effects to see if it happens to pop up and works. But yeah, I do love when it's splash screen. When you finish, it just says installation complete. Have fun. Which I read with zero emotion.
Have fun.
All right, let's see what this does. Oh, what do you got there? And I don't know if we've mentioned how many amazing free assets are on the website too.
Oh yeah,
in
yeah.
case
You don't have to. This doesn't have to be a commercial for paid stuff. It can be a commercial for free stuff too. There's a lot of free stuff on Action VFX.
Our audience loves free stuff.
As do
450 free elements, if I remember correctly.
450.
Go count them, and if it's wrong, email at actionvfx.com.
Email Michael at Max. No, wait.
Yeah, go ahead and email our support team if you find that free number is wrong, and if
It's
it is,
451.
we will
How
give
dare you?
If it is, we'll give you your money back on the free stuff.
That's such a generous offer. Hey, while we're talking about Action VFX, I don't know why we would be talking about it today, but how often do you guys shoot new things?
Sounds like
say that
every
again?
5 minutes. He's shooting right now.
Joel from the chat is asking, how often do you shoot new stuffs?
Oh, nice. I would say right now it's maybe once a quarter. I would say is a good estimate because we shoot stuff in bulk. So we'll, like every shoot, we'll try to get at least 10 new collections per shoot. And then we just spend, because it's kind of a rotation. We have shooting season, then editing season, rinse and repeat.
Wait, what is there a VFX element that you wish you had shot before but have not been able
Great
to
question.
yet?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a great question.
God, it's like you should
There's
host a
definitely
show. It's a very good
there's
question.
definitely something. Let me think about that a bit, because there's definitely. I was gonna say flamethrowers, but we're doing this. That was one big one that we always wanted.
Flamethrowers.
Ooh.
I just want a job where I have to interact with those on a regular basis. That's all.
Hey, if you had the job, you would then realize that you don't spend the whole time playing with the flamethrower. Grass is always greener on the other side. But yeah, that is a great question. I'll just think about it a bit.
Space debris,
notorious.
live space debris
Yeah.
shot in
We haven't shot a planet for real.
Planets.
Multitasking. So
Oh, Rodolphe, Stu Mashwood says hi.
oh, hey Stu.
Hashi and Seth, John is asking, do you have any tips for looping fog and fire assets? They say
Yes.
they usually split the clip and cross dissolve, but they're never too happy with that result.
Yeah, you can split the clip and cross dissolve. That's it. I usually will do a pre-comp and I'll split it, and yeah, if it's smoke, it's rising, so you can't ping pong it. Hashi, what were you gonna say? Oh, I do have one more. But go ahead.
Wait, go for it. Finish your thought.
That was really rude of me. That was bad. It's one of my New Year's resolutions is to stop going, oh, I have something to say, but you go first. Like, what the hell? I will, lately I've been time remapping and just stretching it out to last the length. If as long as it's not a massive clip, if it's just I've got a little bit of clip left, I'll just stretch it out and I'll turn frame blending on. It actually works fairly well, depending on the shot. But you, Hash?
Interesting. I was going to say basically a combination of I'm going to say it.
Are you a believer?
I'm going to say it. But what happened here? It's interesting.
So are you going to say temporal?
I'm going to say it is better than Runway's temporal coherence.
But it's flickery.
Model is flickery. Let's see. I haven't tried. Oh, wait, there's a temporal averaging checkbox.
Ooh.
There is a resolution original, model accurate.
We're all resolution originals.
And I model accurately.
What did I do? Mapping normalized, depth mat. Okay. I'm going to let this think in the background. But what I like to do is basically a version of what I was showing earlier with these little mats. Let's see, where did we get decentered? Yeah, here we are. I like to try to find out whatever the speed of, like if it's a flame rising over time, I try to make a dynamic mask that has roughened edges like this. So let's take this, for example, and say, right at the beginning, if I imagine this is the bottom part of a flame, or go to right here. You kind of try to map out the speed at which the fire is moving from the ground all the way up. And I will do a reveal mat that kind of works in concert with the speed of it going up and create little bands of fire that can technically be the same bit of fire over and over again. Did that make any sense?
It did to me.
Let's see. I'll try to show people the rough idea. So say, let me scale up my fractal noise on this thing here. Actually, I'll scale it back a little bit and turn the sharpness up a bit so you get a flame-ish shape. There we go. So I'll start with a little mask that is all the way down at the ground, like this. And then I'll say, maybe it's playing at kind of a slower frame rate. Maybe it takes 2 seconds to appear. Hopefully this looks like a fire being lit. Kinda, right?
Yeah.
You could obviously play with that more.
Yeah,
You could break it
kinda.
up and do all that stuff. Maybe bigger edges. There we go. Look at that. Just turning up the border size on this roughened edges. There's I'm in people that
Ooh, are you?
the border I am because I won't stand for it. No, but
You're going to the Adobe Town Hall meeting down at City Hall?
say, hey.
How dare they?
So let's see. Happen. But anyway, if you create an element like this that gets revealed kind of like real flame, you can also have it disappear, upward like real flame like this. And so what you get is basically just a piece of flame that burns for a second and then burns itself out. And then if I, let me trim this to the work area, and then I'll put this in another thing. This is sort of like, it was one of the early tricks for looping particle animations in particular, where you'd have basically the things all be generated, and then right as they're fading out is when you'd actually have a duplicate of this come right behind it like that. Everyone see that? So this is just one animation of the fire asset being revealed and then burning itself out. But right before it burns itself out, you start to reveal it again. So it covers up that little feather point like that. So you kind of get, so here's the loop point. It may look really bad because I didn't finesse this much, but watch. That's the loop.
Yeah.
Right there. It's transitioning from one to the other, but there's no fading, no anything. You just get this idea. So if I find...
There you go, John Mueller. There's your answer. Perfect looping fire.
Perfect looping fire. So 148 is where that cuts out. So if I go to 140... Oh, yeah, it's 60 frames per second. I was part of these. So I want to go to frame 149 and say beginning. And now all I need to do is create another that's offset in the same direction this way to be burned out, right? Wait, no. Almost. This is where my brain gets a little wonky. There we go. Let me play this. There, perfectly looping fire.
Look at that. See, Hashi's answers are always better. Nicely done.
See, no, like there's a little bit of ghostiness in there, but yeah, this is what I like to do.
Yeah.
And this comes from me often having like a 20 or 30 second shot that needs something to be on fire, and it's one of the reasons that I appreciate the Action VFX stock elements, because like, look at this. This is 20 the original, so I wouldn't even need to loop it.
That's awesome.
But say I needed to once I played it at speed, which everyone knows you've got to compensate for speed and scale when you're comping in stock elements if you want them to look their best.
I mean, you say everyone knows, but many YouTubes would say otherwise.
Oh, I don't have an answer. I had to think about it for a bit, but definitely the one aspect that I haven't really seen yet is like when you're shooting people, right? That sounds
Always, yeah. It's
that's
constantly.
Frequently, most weekends.
Finally, we're
Yes.
talking, my language.
Yeah, but it's basically because usually we have, the blood hits, which is the blood burst kind of spreading under clothes, and you kind of have to, and sometimes we have bullet holes that, like whether it's like bullet wounds that you then have to add on the talent that's getting hit. But it never really looks as best as it can. It's because the cloth is not really interacting much at all. Because like when you look at especially those old 80s movies like Commando or something like that, like you actually see someone getting killed, it's like the cloth is moving, there's the animation there.
Yeah.
And one thing we've always wanted to do, and which we will do very soon, is essentially that, like the cloth part of it. That way you can overlay your blood burst, your blood mist, but also your cloth hole, if that makes
My
sense.
cloth hole. All right. I actually do want to talk cloth holes real quick.
Hey, my favorite subject.
Good. I have a. Oh no. Let me see. I gotta find this. So there is a film that I made years ago for Red Giant, a short film called Tempo. And in Tempo, there's a moment where a character gets shot. The idea is that there's a gunshot and the bullet hits the laptop in front of them, the laptop screen.
With spoilers for the
Uninitiated to Tempo. So the thing is, there's a bullet hole through the laptop she's on, and then blood shows up on the jacket. And they were like, "So, hey Seth, when are you gonna add that cloth hole?" And I was like, "Oh, before we release it, for sure." And here we get this shot, and she's like, "Oh, she's got the blood. No cloth hole, nowhere. Oh, After Effects alert. See, After Effects is pissed. No cloth hole."
Are you kidding me? Bad
Wow.
comp alert.
Wow. So
How could you?
I could have really used that cloth hole. What's fun though about that project though is that the little bit of, you watch it, a little bit of computer dust that popped, we drilled a hole in this old power book, painted out the hole and just added it in post. But then there's there's some like particles that kind of burst up into the air, like just kind of a fine dust. And that was a Splenda. We just put Splenda down on the keyboard, and she's blasting it with air at the right moment with this canned air, and it actually looks really cool. Then we see no cloth hole, and it's all ruined.
Rodolphe, Darby Jacinto from the chat says that you have the absolute best quotes, and they wonder if you could give them some dating advice.
Ooh, dating advice.
Finally.
It's like I feel like this one's gonna be a real advice.
I feel like your
Not joke
dating
advice.
have this amazing voice because it will make anyone melt.
I don't use that enough then. No, I would say dating advice is before you start dating, know who you are.
Oh,
Boom.
Oh.
wow.
Oh, that's
Well, that's our show. No, I'm just kidding. It's not. We have 30 more minutes. That was incredible. I'm sorry. I'm just in the car for a bit while I open up my After Effects.
Hey, Rodolphe, question. What did your parents say when you said, you know what I'm going to do for a living? Blow things up.
It's yeah, it's funny. It was like a longer conversation because I think like the first step of that, hey, I'm gonna leave college early.
Oh, that's a big part of it.
That's a heck of a conversation.
Because there's all these cool things that I think will work out, and I don't feel like I need college. And then obviously they almost killed me right then and there. But so that's kind of how you start, and as time goes on, they get used to the idea, and then next thing you know, they're congratulating you for blowing things up. So
That's fantastic.
Like when you meet, but I asked the question in a joking manner, but the chat was saying they can't imagine how weird it must get when you're trying to talk about what your job is to people who don't work in visual effects. Like, how do you explain what you do to someone who doesn't know what you do already?
Well, it's like I have like different elevator pitches because I just really dumb down, and I think the one I usually use is like, oh yeah, I always use the stock footage analogy. I always say like, hey, so do you know what stock footage is? Like, let's say you're making a commercial and you need a shot of a smiling baby. You can go on websites online and just download that smiling baby so you don't have to shoot yourself.
Now,
So
if
we
you
do
want that
something
smiling
similar.
baby to blow up, or you want to light that smiling baby on fire,
Then you come and you get that. So I usually try to use
Baby
examples
fires.
like that to just as you don't have a real job. It's just like, oh, like, so this guy is, obviously a starving artist, just so say that when there.
How Luke got his job. He was
And as that keeps growing and as word spread out, I think actually being able to see examples of our stuff being used, like every once in a while, I'll get someone watching something on Netflix and it's like, oh, so people are starting to get it more now. Yeah.
I always forget you live just down the road from me.
Wait, where are you?
I live in
At your
Clarksville,
house.
Tennessee
Hey.
State.
And did you move back to Nashville, Seth, or no?
I did, man. I moved back and right before the pandemic hit. I dropped the vial and I got out of town.
Hey, so we need to have a little Tennessee meetup.
We do. Tennessee meetup. Oh, that's my other podcast where I yell things. Sorry, guys. That was not necessary.
Hey, Seth, where'd that windshield snow element come from in the little car scene that you've built?
Oh, good question. It's Trapco Particular with a solid setup as a bounce layer where the windshield is.
And then when they hit the bounce layer, they just shrink. They stick.
They stick and shrink. Yeah, it's a size over life dip. Just ramp down. Works great for melty snow and for sparks. In fact, if anyone's curious, I'm going to show you behind the scenes here. So this is our driving scene. Why don't I just break this down here for you real quick? I have a foreground layer, and then then I have a us layer. So with Hashi's fog is all natural, and then I have a background. Pile them all on top of each other, then it gives us this fun setup. Yeah, particular.
I think that's the coolest thing ever.
I honestly am gonna have a hard time not doing shows with Hashi and I in cars. Like, oh guys, hang on, tight right turn. So everyone lean to your left. Here we go, and tight right turn. I'm back. Okay, we're good.
Wow.
We survived it.
It's like this is the best part of my job.
Goodness.
I'm gonna comp this fire. Hush, what are you working on? Are you still working on the depth mat over there?
I am working on this on the depth mat here, which let's see. I'll have something here in just a second, maybe. Whoops. Do-do-do-do-do.
You guys are really impressive to be able to talk and comp at the same time.
Oh, do you watch the show? We're not able to.
Okay.
Nathan, it's a Snapchat filter Hashi made. It uses it. It's using the cold breath of stock elements from a website you may have heard of called Action VFX, and Hashi made a Snapchat filter with it, so that every time you open your mouth on Snapchat, it makes a little cold breath puff.
Yep.
Lovely. Just one of the other crazy untapped applications of Action VFX. All right, so I will show y'all what I've done over here.
Hashi's now
Y'all.
in Tennessee.
All right, so we've got here is the depth mat was rendered out. So not bad.
No, it's a lot better than I've seen some other things do. Yeah.
So what I'm doing here is I've applied a brightness and contrast, and you could do this with curves or whatever you prefer to do, as a way of kind of slice down the image, just get a nice luma mat of what is way back here in a way. And I'm using that as a luma mat for it's not it's just because I had it downloaded already. One of the aerial explosions from Action VFX. Check this out. Seth is now in front of this explosion. And if I wanted to, I could put some keyframes on this depth mat.
Oh, yeah.
So, for example, if the keys were down here, so it's kind of behind him at this point, as he casts forward, it were to be brighter over time, it would be the illusion, look, of him disappearing.
Yeah, that is sick.
This is gonna look. So there are better stock elements I could have used for this particular one. But look at
that!
Oh no!
Oh no, me!
Yeah.
I should sync. Wait, let me try to sync the
Independence Day
explosion.
shot where the I don't know why I immediately thought of the Independence Day shot, but where the
dog.
The dog. That's way better.
The pillar that sells it.
The dog, except with me in the background being engulfed in flames. And go.
And oh, poor Seth.
Nah.
But look at what a great tool that the depth mat there is for putting this explosion in this space. Like, look, it's behind the counter there. It's behind the Seth and the Et here. I love it. This looks like the videos that I would make in high school, actually, before
Before
I
you
had
learned how to
a good
comp.
skill and perspective. And the types of videos I continue to make on YouTube, as it turned out, you could fool lots of people who did not know how to comp anything if it was handheld. But oh my gosh. Well, look at this. So I'm withholding a full out recommend, but this tool is pretty cool. The what was it called? The depth scanner from AE Scripts. So download the 4 gigs of it and give it a try for yourself. This could be really useful on some things.
Yeah, we need to talk to them about licenses for you.
Boom. And it turns out the temporal smoothing it did seems to be some kind of a frame blending model. Like, I think it's just literally blending frames together. But there may be higher quality settings. I pulled it back a little bit because I was hurting the computer a little bit here. So, I mean, I didn't realize try to do it live. I figured it would be a post-processing thing where it sent it off to farm, but it is running on the CPU. So, or I mean on the GPU. It, I think, can run on the GPU, but slower. Yeah, right now when I turn it up all the way, it gives me this. But I also refused to restart when it asked me to. So who's wrong? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. That's enough for depth scanner. All right.
Forest fire coming out okay over there? You're figuring out how to use After Effects again?
Oh yeah, like in a few seconds, I'm gonna have the biggest After Effects that have ever After Effects. It is always funny whenever I meet people who assume that what I do is called After Effects, and it's like, hey, could you After Effects this thing? And it's like, well, it's the software, not. But hey,
I tell the story all the time, but when I first started learning After Effects, I showed and I should preface that I have two of the most supportive parents that any human alive has ever had. But I remember showing my dad a shot that I had made of like this like logo flying through space. It was very much like the opening of Toy Story 2, which I still wager is like one of the best opening title sequences when it comes to expectations. And my dad, I showed it to him and he goes, "Oh, that's cool. You made that with your app?" And I was like, "Yes, Dad, I made it with my app. Yeah, technically I did." And then it was like 6 months later, Aaron Rabinowitz found me and asked me to do that tutorial for the Smoke Monster. And when that Smoke Monster tutorial came out, my dad watched the whole thing like 80 times. And he sent it to all of his friends and posted. And he was like, "This is like watching a watchmaker work. This is incredible. Look at it was amazing." It's just a matter of like, awesome. You just show people a little bit of what's under the hood and the kind of stuff you're like, the kind of like levers you're pulling and buttons you're pushing, and it clicks for people. That's why I feel like everybody should be required to do one semester of a VFX or After Effects class if they ever want to watch a movie ever again in their life and comment on visual effects.
Right. If you're going to comment on visual effects, you should know what you're talking about. That's fair.
Yeah. Like I've told my son, and he's very good about this too, just like before, if a visual effects shot ever looks bad, before you say anything, look at it and think about how much work may have been done on it. And like, you can still be critical, but like always try to keep in mind like the amount of work that people are putting into these things, and try and think about maybe how could they have run out of time, or what challenges could they have run into. You could also just watch stuff and make fun of it, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's the one thing a lot of people don't get, especially when it comes to the TV VFX world. Like for movies, maybe someone may have like a longer deadline, but for TV, it's sometimes those deadlines are just stupid short, and you're thinking, wow, like how do you even, like I remember I was speaking with this artist once, and the show he was working on, like the episode was airing the next day, like literally the next day. And as I was talking with him, he was comping some shots for it. And so it's like you never really realize how little time sometimes artists will have to actually do something.
Yeah, no one deserves to work on a TV schedule.
No one did anything bad enough to deserve that.
Excellent. I'm just doing my little trick here to create this little fireball. And there are even burning fireball or torch assets that I could have used instead. But I save my bandwidth here. But one last trick that I kind of like when using stock elements is to combine two of my very favorite things. One of those is Trapcode Particular, and the other is Action VFX. They actually combine really well together. I like to create a particle system that half moves like fire, and then parent an asset from Action VFX to the emitter, and let it be a reveal mat. So
nice. The
reveal mat will be dynamic and reacting to the space and light, but it's only revealing little bits of things for everyone, really.
That's excellent.
So I'm going to try that right now. So I'm going to create a really simple, let's move this up here. Solo. Let's just create an emitter who's got a bit of higher air density. The velocity on this will be way lower. Let's make it like 3. Let's make the wind drift up. I'm old school. I'm just creating a classic old, look at that. So particles emitting, moving upward. I can have them, have the wind even be faster than that, but I can have the lifespan of these particles be way less. Y'all are welcome to do other stuff while I'm doing this, but
I am.
I love it.
I'm just I've got my fire.
Set the super comping away, Hashi. You go ahead and talk us through what you're doing.
All right, so I'm going to make these particles that have a very short lifespan. Let's say 0.3 even, and they have. So watch this. So really lousy, like it just kind of does that. But the fun thing about this is if I were to create a null, for example, and then, which is, first of all, look how easy that was. This is something that I've wanted all my life, was just to be able to be in particular and say, please just make me a null. That is where this is all happening. And look at that, it's right there. So, oh, Joel, I've got to apply some heat wave to this. You are right on. So another Red Giant plugin that plays very well. So, for example, if this had a wiggle expression on it, I don't know, let's make it extreme so you can really see it. 3 by 100. Now, when I play this null is going to be dancing around. So the particles are, they have that wind and they're moving upward. And so they have some fire-ish characteristics, which is kind of cool. I'm going to adjust these even more. Let's put a few more particles in there. And let's make the, instead of a point, let's make it a little sphere emitting these that is smaller, which I can do just by taking the null and scaling it down. There we go. I'm going to have these move up even faster. Fast. And then I could do something like under the rendering, I could turn on the motion blur. I could switch this to a GPU. Let's see if that saves me any time here. So now I have a, smoky or fiery-ish thing, but this doesn't have, it doesn't look at all like a real flame. It just has some properties of a flame, all right? But if I take that silly fireball that I had made a second ago, bring it in here, and let's make it a 3D object that I attach to my emitter object. I've got to do a little bit of rearranging here. Or not rearranging, but I should have adjusted the anchor point first of all. Pretend I had done this all before, everyone. So this is obviously bigger than, would be coming from this little point. But the idea is if I place this kind of around here, it'll now move around with the emitter like that. And this would look wrong in and of, like just by itself, obviously, because you see this fire asset moving around. That's not the way fire moves. It's supposed to have some reaction to the space. But sometimes, and it's totally going to fail now that I'm trying to do it live, but if I use particular as an alpha mat for this little fire card, what I'll get is fire being revealed only within the physics of the particles of particular, but every little bit that's being revealed is an Action VFX element. that's moving at a similar speed. So look at this.
Oh, that's nice.
Dang.
And it's super lightweight, and it's not like complicated particles that you had to get perfect, but you just see this and it feels like a little dancing flame. And this is before doing any pre-processing to the shapes of these particles. You could do all the kind of stuff I was doing earlier. Like you could take this and just add a roughen edges to it. Whoops, wrong layer. Wrong layer. Particular plus roughen edges on spiky equals fire. Roughen edges, spiky. Look at that. Change the border a little bit, change the scale a little bit. Now
Nice.
that's my reveal matte. And I can change the sharpness of it to be a little bit more feathery or something. Is once it's being used as a matte for this Action VFX element. Let's play. Here we go. So it plays through pretty darn fast. It's got what feel like physics coming off of it. I'm going to switch it back to the CPU, actually. I might be doing too many things. Let's see. Does this preview faster? Oh, yeah, there we go. And now, Seth, I can use all of this together to
Finally give me the powers that I deserve.
yes. So let's see. You pitch right around here. So let's put this null right over here by your hand somewhere. Push it back in Z space a little bit. Oh, I can turn off the wiggle. Now, let's push it back to here. And then we'll add some position keyframes, just 2 of them, 1 there and 1 right at camera. Let's see, zoom forward, zoom forward. Oh yeah. You've launched this mighty. Oi. Thing right at camera. Look out, everyone. Also, scale your roughen edges simulation appropriately. Here we go. I don't even know what's happening. Hiya! Yes.
Very nice.
Okay, this was less cool of a reveal right here than I thought, but the lesson is a particle reveal matte for a good save. All right, so
I just want to
Seth.
say, like, universe is literally the best thing ever. So just wanted to throw that out there. Like that saves my butt.
See, I thought you would be falling in love with Super Comp with how useful it is with VFX elements.
Oh,
That's
because
the thing.
yeah, because like
so
universe,
busy, right?
yeah, you could just throw an adjustment layer on here and type something like, I don't know, heat wave, and suddenly your footage looks like it's been sizzling in the fire of all this stuff.
Ooh, you do
with a
heat wave on the
dynamic
whole adjustment layer.
on the whole adjustment layer. Look at that.
It's funny that you're showing this because that's literally what I just did a few minutes ago for my
Oh,
Yes.
do you have
yeah,
anything?
we've
Let's
got-
see what you've been
don't
doing.
touch the forest.
Whoa!
Get your forest fire.
That forest!
Oh,
This forest is on fire. That's the song.
love it.
What's the melody?
Reminds me of home.
But yeah, I guess that nice
Okay.
that nice heat wave, which is
Look at that, man. You're just watching it burn, not doing anything, just not interceding, just letting nature play it out.
oh, could I get some live critique? What does this need?
Let's see. Wait, there's a bottom bush, the one in the bottom center. I would add some either CC slant or CC bender too, and just alter the direction of the flame growing.
yeah, so it's not blowing opposite from the other ones.
Or you could just
Stu?
rotate it.
I just saw Stu's comment.
Yeah.
Seth is owning Super Comp. Well, it just owned me. If you guys saw me, I just had to force quit it.
I have your super comp
Or bam.
on one shot that I did, and I do remember it being the first software in the history of my life that I opened up and used without any tutorials or anything like that.
Whoa!
Like that's how intuitive.
Nice.
It
Pull
was.
that
I
clip
was,
and throw it
like, I
on
was very
everything.
surprised. Like, wait, like this. It's almost like whoever designed it knew what needed to happen, and I don't know. So props to you guys on that. Like I do remember being
You're
super
welcome.
surprised that how am I using this? I just opened it and it's like go.
You're welcome. I worked really hard, just days and nights on Super Comp, me personally, and Hashi as well.
Yes, pulling his real life experience just into
At
like,
Industrial
into
Light and
distill it
Magic
into-
and and Being Stu
a
Maschwitz, my
labor
own.
of love.
Yeah. No, our team with the leadership of Stu and several other people, it was just it's my favorite product that Red Giant has made in some time. It's just like a game changer product, which gets me really excited when people I'll get texts from people that are like, "Hey, so how would you what did someone say?" It was a very 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 super compy question of like, how would you add haze to something, or how would you? I wish I remembered what it was, and I was like, "Oh, I just do super comp. It does it. Like, it's built in." And they were like, "Wait, you actually use super comp?" And I was like, "What? What do you think that?" Yes, like, yes, I do. And they were like,
I
"Yeah,
want
but
to comp this fire into a hallway, except there's some direction of light for the smoke, and like if I put it in there, it's not maintaining that when I put it as an additive blending mode layer on top of everything." And you're like, oh.
yeah." Yeah, you're just like,
it's so much fun when people don't use it or don't know about it. I'm like, you could make your stuff look so much better in like 5 clicks. Like,
Yeah.
It's so nice.
So that's why I'm starting a course. No, I'm kidding. I'm not. But I do
Super comp your way to success.
Yep, super comp your way to success is what it's called, and
Only $5.99.
only $5.99.
Oh, I wouldn't do you like that, man. I was thinking $599.
Too late. People are already buying the tickets. We're oh man.
My goodness.
What do you want to do for our final minutes today?
Good question. Final 5. The classic VFX and chill final 5.
I mean, your thing is looking great, Seth.
Thanks, guys. It's mostly super comp and Action VFX. I did very little. Like, I took a break from this comp and came back to it, but I did.
Yeah, that is amazing, dude.
I mean,
But,
dude,
yeah.
it's all you, man. Forest fires.
If you didn't question that there was a body in there before, I think the new
Michael.
design, which by the way, like, yeah, spoiler alert for Planes, Trains, and Automobile. Not
Hey,
a body.
I haven't
in
seen
there.
it yet. You say nothing.
Spoiler alert, Michael. Your body is in the box in the film. They go home, and they open it, and they're like, "Oh my god, it's Michael from
Wait,
VFX and
this
Chill."
Is this Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, or is it 7?
It's Planes, Trains, and Seven Mobiles.
Or 8 heads in a duffel bag. Was it 8? Is that the number?
Yeah,
heads in a duffel
eight
bag?
deadly sins. Yes, the film was called 8.
8 Deadly Sins.
And it was called 8 is Enough. And I don't know where to go with this. Let's see. How about black and boy, it's gonna take some time to load. You know, I love our VFX and Chill
Thanksgiving.
font, but I feel like it needs to be a little more greeting cardy.
Greeting cardy. Ooh,
Get more
what do we
greeting
got?
card than that? Oh, that kind of greeting card.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
And it needs to be a color, probably. I can boost that weight a little bit.
You know, Seth, I'm looking forward to a new computer.
I know. It's coming into December, I'm told. Unless you work at Apple and you want to expedite it.
Hey, Apple.
Hey, Apple! Hey! Hey, Apple! What
This is
accent
giving
is
me-
this? I'm looking for it. It's
I
almost
have
there.
PTSD from Hey Apple.
Oh, people used to
Guess know
call...
what that's from?
No!
Oh, you mean Hey Apple, Hi PC? Those commercials?
No, I think it was called The Annoying Orange. He was an orange with a mouth that used to talk.
Yes.
And there's this famous one where it's just like, "Hey, Apple," and it's so annoying, but I can't look away for some reason.
Oh boy.
That's our brand actually for VFX and Chill.
Can't look away.
So annoying, but I can't look away.
All right.
I think I got my shot in a decent place right here.
Let's see it.
Out of
Whoa!
some-
Hey, look, we're all
some
in the
stuff.
fire. We're in the fire together.
Hey.
See, we started off the show so chilly, and
now we're toasty,
we're
toasty
warm.
warm.
Mhm.
And that was good feedback on matching the fire angle. See, I need to hang out with you guys more. I would get better. So.
We
I
would love to hang
100%
out
agree.
with you.
Yes, you are always welcome
Yes.
on VFX and Chill. And you have, the way we structure this show is we have a link that guests can use to schedule their appearance on the show. Technically, you can just open that link anytime you want because we don't.
You
we'll
could book us out for the rest of the year.
we check it about a week prior to the episode, and so we'll be like, "Who's on the show this week?" Rodolphe is back.
It's hey, this is my side gig now.
Yes, it is,
VFX and Chill co-host.
dude. I'm all for it. I have no problem with it whatsoever. Well, to recap what we did this week. Actually, Michael, could you possibly recap for us what we did this week?
All right, we learned how to loop fire. We learned how to cut fire. We learned how to fire, basically. Basically, we learned how to fire. We learned lots of things about fire. We didn't get to go into deep stuff about in Super Combat, how to boost the core, heat, or any of that kind of fun stuff, which we'll hopefully get to do on some future episode. But it was great hanging out with y'all. I hope you have a lovely Thanksgiving.
Absolutely. I hope everyone has a happy Thanksgiving. And we promise our Christmas wishes are to learn how to boost the core. Come back in 2 weeks and we'll try boosting the core. Oh,
Go to the
quick
site.
left turn. Sorry, I got to turn real quick. Here we go.